and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Kubra Ali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada. PM Trudeau supports ending mandatory COVID-19 vaccination rules at border. Police identify 17-year-old boy fatally shot in Scarborough. Ontario reports slight increase in lab-confirmed COVID-19 cases as other public health indicators remain stable. Ontario Premier reports approval ratings dropped by 4 points since being elected.
A great champion for Richmond Hill, former Mayor Dave Barrow, has died.
Son charged after 2 people found dead inside a Etobicoke home. These were the headlines, and now let's jump right into the details. Police have identified a 17-year-old boy who was shot and killed in Scarborough on Wednesday afternoon. The incident occurred around 3:45 p.m. in the area of Eglinton Avenue East and Midland Avenue. According to investigators, officers arrived at the scene to find a male victim in front of a building without vital signs. He was suffering from multiple gunshot wounds and was rushed to the trauma center, where he was later pronounced dead. On Thursday, police identified the victim as Toronto resident Zebion Lawrence. No information has been released regarding the suspects in the daylight shooting, which prompted a nearly school to be placed under hold and secure order for a brief time. A city-run childcare center in a nearby building, which was closed at the time of the incident, also sustained damage. The city says work is underway to repair the damage. Photos from the scene show that what appears to be a big hole in the window of a building right near where the shooting took place. The city is aware of a frightening incident that took place outside one of its childcare centers on Wednesday, officials say in the statement. Thankfully, the center was closed at the time of the incident and no children or staff were present. The homicide unit is investigating. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has agreed to let a cabinet order enforcing mandatory COVID-19 vaccination requirements at the Canadian border expire at the end of this month. The news was confirmed by 2 senior government sources who spoke to the Canadian press on condition they not be named because they were not authorized to speak publicly. The federal government is still deciding whether to maintain the requirement for passengers to wear masks on trains and airplanes. Masking rules for airplanes and trains are not contained in the same order and will be discussed separately. The federal cabinet is meeting this afternoon, but cabinet approval is not required to allow the order to expire, as the version agreed to in June said it will expire on September 30th. The order that is expiring also affects mandatory and random testing for international travelers. Ontario is reporting a slight increase in the number of COVID-19 cases detected through PCR testing for the second consecutive week, but most other public health indicators remain stable. The latest data from the Ministry of Health suggests that there were 8,354 new lab-confirmed cases over the last 7 days, up from 7,945 the previous week and 7,419 the week before that. The positivity rate, meanwhile, was virtually unchanged at 11.98%. The data points to the level of viral activity remaining relatively stable in Ontario despite concerns around the return of approximately 2 million public school students earlier this month. The ministry says that as of Wednesday, there were 1,141 people in hospital with COVID-19, down slightly from the 1,167 people who were hospitalized at this time last week. Of those hospitalized, 129 are receiving treatment in intensive care. That's virtually unchanged from last week, when 130 COVID-19 positive patients were in intensive care. The number of active outbreaks in the handful of sectors with widespread access to PCR testing are also holding relatively stable, with week-over-week declines reported amongst long-term care homes, hospitals, shelters, and correctional facilities. Deaths to remain elevated, with 65 new fatalities linked to COVID-19 added to province's tally on Thursday. Since the onset of pandemic in 2020, a total of 14,279 deaths have been attributed to COVID-19 in Ontario. Police say a 28-year-old man has been charged in connection with deaths of his parents, who were found deceased inside an Etobicoke apartment on Wednesday. Officers were called to a building located near Bergamot and Islington Avenues around 1:40 a.m. after receiving a call about stabbing. According to investigators, a man and a woman were found deceased inside an apartment, and a man was found nearby with stab wounds. The injured person was transported to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. On Thursday morning, police identified the victims as 68-year-old Colin Henry and 67-year-old Veronica Henry. A suspect identified as Toronto resident Alpha Henry was taken into custody and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in connection with the incident. Police say the suspect is the son of the victims. Ontario Premier Doug Ford's approval ratings appear to have taken a dip over the last few months since he was re-elected, according to a new Angus Reid survey. The survey, which was released Thursday morning, suggests Ford's approval ratings now sit at about 41%. This is down 4 points from June, when progressive conservatives handily won a majority. It's also significantly lower than the approval ratings Ford enjoyed at the beginning of the pandemic between March and June 2020, when his approval sat just under 70%. Angus Reid cited the expansion of private healthcare as one of the primary reasons why Ford's approval could have dropped, although the survey also said this issue was quickly eclipsed by Bill 7 legislation that would allow hospitals to force senior patients into long-term care homes, not of their choosing, or face a $400 a day fee. As of August, the PCs had offered education workers making less than $40,000 a 2% raise in proposed 4-year deal, with all other employees getting a 1.25% raise. Overall, Ford ranked 6th of 9 Canadian premiers, including in the Angus Reid survey, in terms of approval for the last quarter. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.